obviously supporting Donald Trump in this upcoming election.
Yes.
Recently, he has publicly referred to Democrats and the left as the enemy from within. My question to you is, do you at all view this rhetoric as sort of dangerous and counterproductive towards unifying the left and the right?
So I was prepared for this question because I got it on CNN yesterday morning. And it caused me to just sort of get to the facts, right? So he has referred to, there is an enemy within. Left-wing radical lunatics is what he described. And my question for the anchor, who asked me this question, it was a similar question, was, for the first time in American history in a generation, we've had a major presidential candidate on the eve of an election barely survive one assassination attempt and had another assassination attempt where it's not like somebody planned something. There was like bullets fired at him. I think it's fair to call them left-wing radicals. Would you call them anything different?
I think they're radicals.
They're radicals?
We don't really know what political party they define with, but it's obviously
so fine,
very
we can call them
inhumane.
radical lunatics. We can agree on that.
Yes.
Okay. So if the problem with the rhetoric wasn't that it was radical lunatics, but there was just left-wing in front of it, I think we're kind of grasping at straws here a little bit. Versus asking the bigger question of what the heck is going on in our country when we have multiple assassination attempts in the context of a presidential election where in the latter case, 48 hours later, it was even out of the news. That's become normalized in our country, and that's wrong. It's unconscionable. And I think we need to get back to a place where we do regard that as unacceptable radicalism in the United States of America. And I do think that there's a certain peculiarity about it where, I say this to somebody who's not been afraid to draw my contrast with Donald Trump, but I think there's something peculiar going on in the country where Donald Trump's shot once, we blame Donald Trump. Donald Trump's shot out again, we blame Donald Trump. I'm glad Elon Musk's rocket made it back and they caught it. If not, they would have on Sunday blamed Donald Trump for that too, I think, right? And so I just think at a certain point, we have to ask ourselves whether it's like the person who's being shot at that's actually to blame or whether there's something else going on in our culture that's villainized our opposition. I will say there's a lot of ways he could have responded after the Butler shooting. There's a lot of ways that could have gone. He called for calm, aplomb, and unity. He's a fighter, no doubt about it, but I think that he has the ability to fight. I'm also betting, and I believe he has the ability to unite, not through cheap talk, but through action. Actually, success is unifying. Excellence is unifying. Part of the reason people are pissed off is wages haven't gone up, but prices have. People were sold a dream that you get a head start in the American dream by becoming a gender studies major somewhere with a bunch of debt, and it didn't work out that way. When, in fact, people are feeling screwed over by that. The lies we've been told. We've been systematically told that COVID started in some sort of wet lab, and if you said it started in a lab in Wuhan, you were somehow a racist before we realized that's exactly what happens. People are pissed off having been lied to, and I think that's actually what's going on in the country. Censorship pisses people off. And to the question about earlier about free speech, when you tell people they can't speak, that's when they scream. If you tell people they can't scream, that's when they start tearing things down. So no, do I think Donald Trump's the problem? No. I think the culture of censorship is the problem. I think the culture of dishonesty in the country is the problem. I think the culture and rising, growing permissiveness of violence where we normalize 2 assassination attempts in the course of a presidential season, I think that's a problem. And, I think the culture of picking on one thing Donald Trump said on a given day rather than focusing on the substance of the issues he's actually addressing, from mass migration to violent crime in the country, is actually just a disservice to the country. And so my own view is I do hope to unite the country, but I want to do it through action in a substantive way rather than just making it feel good through the rhetoric that we post through our Twitter tweets. That's what I believe.